So today's objective is to get to Upper Kennedy Falls. It's a rather gray, dreary July 31st. It's threatening rain, but I decided to head out anyway. We came by here last weekend and scoped it out, but it's effectively blocked about a kilometre and a half off the highway. It's about a 3.5 kilometre walk into it, fairly level, so I decided to do it with dogs. No problems on the way in, but as I was pulling up, there was this couple here. Turns out they were getting ready for a hike up Pogo Mountain, so there wasn't a conflict, but for a while there it was like, oh no, other people with dogs. Yeah, so we came out here last week and we discovered that this had been blocked off. Like I said, I haven't been out here in 9 years, so it came as a bit of a shock, but it does look like you can get through it if you've got like a really jacked Jeep or something, or like a Razor for side-by-side. But obviously the Ford Ranger's not getting through there. There was a couple here when I pulled in, but they're going up Pogo, which is good because they had a dog. But let's continue. On the map, these show up as Upper Kennedy Falls, but back in the day when I came out here, they were known locally anyway as Hot Rocks. And yeah, I actually came here on my honeymoon. Well, sort of honeymoon. I guess the second night after our wedding, we camped up here. Woke up in the morning and there was a van full of teenagers with some youth program that showed up, but it was cool. That was 20 years ago, this month actually. And yeah, the last time I was up here was back in 2017 when I had my other chocolate lab pig we figured out. So sometime in the last 9 years, they've completely blocked off access. But we're gonna walk because it's pretty. So we're about a kilometre into the hike, and just off the side of the road, there's this first little waterfall. It's not super dramatic, but the dogs wanted a drink. Kind of pretty. Yeah, so far the drive's been pretty good if you can get past that first obstacle. There's a big rock on the road here, but you can get around it. I'm not recommending it for the Ford Ranger or anything, but yeah, if you had like a decent truck like a Tacoma, if you could get past that first barricade, so far you'd be home free. So less than half a K to go to Hot Rocks here, and this was the creek that previously I think most people turned around in. I can't quite remember, but it's quite washed out. You'd have to be a pretty ambitious driver to get most vehicles through here. Not impossible though. I have seen some wheel tracks on the way in, so I'm curious if somebody's in here. I mean, I've seen Jeeps right in the river before. It's a nice spot. Actually, I think up where Cola is the ultimate barrier to vehicle traffic there. It looks pretty sick. Oh yeah. Okay, so this is getting a little extreme for most people. There's some good turnarounds behind me if you do make it through. Although I see some people have gone through with presumably their quads or their side-by-sides. I'm going to put the camera away, try to make it across this creek unscathed. So yeah, so here's the ground view of Upper Kennedy Falls here. There's no one here. I just flew my drone around and confirmed that. The problem is, to really get to the falls, you got to get wet. I brought Crocs, but actually at the last creek crossing, I fell in. So I'm completely soaked. So I'm just going to walk through this little channel anyway and go across. You could see how on a hot day this would just be a refreshing place to come have a dip. Yeah, and it's a shame because now it is a 3.3 kilometer walk according to Gaia. It's super flat, but still takes about 40 minutes. Yeah, so we found a shallower place to cross. I left my drone, phone, and everything wholly over there in case I fell. Although this looks pretty safe, it's just up to my knees. Daisy doesn't like it, but yeah, this is where you drive across too, in your Jeep, if you're so inclined. Daisy's getting excited. But yeah, it's an absolutely beautiful spot. The dogs get spirited after they've been in the water. Obviously the channel of the river changes yearly, but it looks roughly how I remember it. Over here somebody's built a little lean-to shelter and a big bonfire fire pit there. Because yeah, as you can see, it's a beautiful place to camp. When it's hot though, when the sun's shining, there's no shade. Hence why they called it Hot Rocks. Those trails are new. I think those are made by 4x4 people. Probably some campsites in the wood in a bid to get some of that precious shade. Yeah, like I said, brought Crocs. That didn't pan out. Just getting wet. Best laid plans, all that. So it's July 31st today. Last day of July, started the BC Day long weekend, and yeah, nobody's here. One, because it's kind of overcast and threatening to rain, and two, because it's a 3.3 kilometer walk. But back in the day, it was actually getting kind of busy, which is probably why they blocked off the road to it and stuff. Sign at the highway says it's part of the Toloquiet Tribal Park, but I'm not sure if that includes this far back. I know there's a provincial park. You access, well, it's called Snag Lake in the Clayoquot Plateau from here, up this road, which would be an even further walk. Yeah, it's a beautiful place to swim. This pool under the falls is neat, but my favorite place is over here where there's really deep channel takes you around the corner. Don't even have to swim, you just jump in. Let the current do the work. Yeah, on those days where it's over 30 degrees and you're just baking in the hot sunshine here, you come over here and just plunge off there, and the current just takes you down lazily like that. Pretty sweet spot anyway. The first time I ever saw it, I was at work and I was doing a free growing survey. This is actually in the reserve patch of a quite large clear cut. It was back in like 2001 or 2002. Cool's got a really big stick over there. I might find a smaller one and go chuck it in the falls for him. But yeah, basically that's it. A nice spot to swim, good spot to camp if you're into a 3.5K walk.